Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of LJ's Garage, and I'm sitting in a 2015 Kia K900. And I thought it would be awesome to do the K900 because Kia has actually decided to continue with the K900 into its second generation, even though a lot of people are wondering, why even bother if you weren't hitting those sales numbers? To give you guys an idea of where the K900 sits, in 2017, Kia only sold 455 of these. Kia's not doing too well with this K900, but it's an awesome car, and stay tuned, I'm going to show you why that is, and what kind of bang for your buck deal that you're getting with this. In quick specs, the K900 has a 5-liter V8, it does 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, it weighs about 4,500 pounds, has 420 horsepower and 376 foot-pounds of torque. Starting with the exterior, the K900 is really subtle but has elegant and sporty looks. From the factory, you get 19-inch alloys. This car is actually sitting on aftermarket wheels, but these look really good on the car, gives it a nice sporty look. You got dual exhaust, and they make a nice sound. Listen here. And while the sound isn't anything like a Chevy SS or nothing like that, this thing is still a 5-liter V8. And if at any moment you forget that this V8 is for hauling your family around, don't leave home without your baby on board sticker. Adding to the sporty look are these fender vents. They're really cool look, but they're not functional. But again, just a nice little sporty touch. It's just so elegant and fancy. Oh man. Unique feature, check out these cube headlights. I don't think I've ever seen another car with such futuristic, alien-like headlights, but they actually look really good on the car. I like them a lot. Standard daytime running lights. And then another thing on this grille, you'll notice that it's got this little camera right here, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's actually a pretty handy feature. And the rest of the car, I mean, it's very understated. This car is not trying to do a whole lot or say a whole lot. It just kind of speaks for itself once you're behind the wheel. And as always, here's under the hood. Kia did something really interesting, and most of this car is actually covered up. You can't really see a whole lot of mechanical components. It's almost all just hard plastics, which, I mean, it's interesting. And then they've got this nice little silver touch, so you can make sure you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is definitely a V8, so that's a nice touch, kind of cool. I need a little pop of colors right there. It's pretty standard engine bay, and again, there's really not much to it. Kia doesn't really brag about the V8, but it's something that is there, and it's a little understated because it does move, it does have power. So this is not the same Kia as this. Kia Motors. Now that we're in the back, I just want to show you guys something really cool. It's got power trunk, so you just go ahead and reach back here, push a little button, stand back, it does all the work for you. And it's something that you expect in a car at this price point, but check it out, there's plenty of room. And if you've got multiple children, look at that, 2 strollers. Don't ask me how to use them, but they're there. And then in the back, if you're wondering if I can fit back there, just you wait and find out. Then when you're all done back here, go ahead and just push this little button, step right back, and look at that. Close and easy. Keyless entry, so you just push this little button, unlock, lock, all that cool stuff. These side mirrors are pretty standard, but they're actually auto dimming, and here's your blind spot monitors. These side mirrors right here, they fold as expected. Hey look, that's me. But it's a pretty cool touch. Again, something expected on a car that's going to be in that price point of luxury. Before I get into the interior, I want to show you one more thing that's kind of interior, kind of exterior, but it's got this reflective LED strip. And again, on most cars you'd see the plastic reflective material, but this has actually got lights and everything. So it's a really cool feature, something that they didn't have to do, but it's a nice touch that Kia did. So they've included this analog clock, which is a nice touch. It's something that is included on most luxury cars. Again, I'm not sure why at this day and age, but it's a nice fancy feature. It looks good. It gives that sense of luxury. So remember I showed you guys the power trunk. This actually lets you control the power trunk from inside the car. So if you pull and push on this, you can actually see the trunk open and close. Actually, if you guys watch there, it opens and it closes. So it's pretty nice. And another cool touch that Kia took the time in to like think about is whenever you're operating that trunk, the hazards automatically come on, and you can see that little light pops on, letting you know that your trunk is open. But once everything is closed, the light goes off, and so do the hazards. As standard, you got lane departure, cruise control, heated steering wheel. Ooh, I love me some heated steering wheel. Look at that. These hands, they're precious. They like warm steering wheels. While we're here, this one actually has the parking cameras and everything. It's got your settings for the blind spot monitor, so you can turn this on and off. Traction control as standard, and then adjustable lights for your interior. You even have memory seats on the passenger side, so that makes it extra nice and handy. So this comes standard with a Lexicon sound system, and it's about 17 speakers. There's another one that's like 20 speakers, and you can upgrade and do all that cool stuff. But for the meantime, that's actually a really, really awesome sound system. It's not Bang & Olufsen or anything like that, but for what you're paying for, that sound system does a great job.
But nothing in this world that I like more than checks. All I really want to see is done. I don't really need to be any done. Pull it back, need it done.
Remember I showed you guys that camera on the front? So that's the setting for it, or actually the button for it. But what it does is if you look right here, whenever you're in drive, and you have your foot on the brake, it'll actually turn on that front-facing camera, or when you're in reverse, it'll switch right back to the backup camera. And another cool thing is when you're actually in reverse, watch these mirrors, they actually automatically tilt and adjust, so everything's set to make backing up really easy and safe. And then again, you come right back over to this, and you hit it in drive, your foot's on the brake, and you can actually come to a stop and everything and make sure that you don't hit anything. Other cool, just an awesome safety feature, I love it. This includes a snow mode, and my buddy who actually owns the car, he said he actually got to try that out the other day. We got about 5 inches of snow, and he actually said it actually worked. It changes the driving dynamics so that you're able to safely operate the car in snow. If you look up top, you've got your lighting controls, and then I want to show you guys this cool thing. This panoramic moonroof is one of my favorite features, and watch this thing open. Oh my god. I feel like we should be listening to opera music while that opens. Spectacular. And you can actually control that sunshade, so go ahead and close this all the way up, and with that fully closed, it'll actually do auto and actually close everything or open everything all the way. But if you flip this switch and just take your finger off, it'll stop that. So you can actually just keep the shades just like that. I'm going to show you guys just how much room you actually do have back here. I'm going to hop in and show you with the car seats in here and everything how much leg room you still actually have. Look at that, you've got so much room, it's ridiculous. Another cool feature back here is you can actually move these front seats, and so you just go ahead and you press forward and you'll see that front seat move up. You can tilt it forward. So if you really want that passenger seat out of your darn way, you can move them from the rear. It kind of gets annoying, I'm sure, if someone was trying to mess with you, but it's a cool feature nonetheless. This button doesn't do anything, it's just a cool reminder that it's the K900. And then if you look at the rear back window, this button right here actually controls the sunshade. So I'm going to show you guys that real quick. So you just push that button and you get this nice power sunshade back there. And then the rear passengers have access to that, and so do you up front. So you hit this climate button, and when you do that, this appears, and you can actually see the temperature of the rear, you can actually see the temperature of the front, and actually adjust everything. So this actually has a 3-zone climate control. So passengers got their temp, driver, and then the rear. So it's actually pretty sweet, very luxurious, very fancy, very BMW, Mercedes, all the other German companies, but in a Kia, it's spectacular. So the ride on this is actually really, really smooth, very comfortable, and it's not a surprise, again, at the price point and the target that this car is after, it better be luxurious, it better be smooth, and it better be comfortable, and it checks all those boxes easily. So this car is a super blast to drive. It is big. You can actually tell that it's large. It's not like a small car in a big car's body, anything like that. The V8 is awesome, plenty of torque, plenty of power. The 8-speed transmission shifts like a dream, and when it's in eco mode, it's nice and smooth, very luxurious. I do say that this car is pretty much the best of all worlds. It gets luxury right, it gets sporty right, it doesn't get fuel efficiency right though, because it only gets about 22 miles per gallon on the highway, which most of the BMWs now get that in the city. So it's kind of something that Again, Kia's got to change, but they did switch in 2019, and now the Kia K900 actually comes with a V6 twin turbo, better fuel economy, still around the same amount of power, different car though, compared to the V8. So, you know, with that being said, I want you guys to know that this is an awesome car. I definitely give it my recommendation. For $50,000 brand new when the first generation came out, and $60,000 brand new starting price with the second generation, it's kind of a hard car to beat. But people do like to see that BMW, the Mercedes, the Audi, all that good stuff. And as you guys have seen with the big V8 sedans, like the Chevy SS, it's kind of a recipe that should be an instant success, but in the case of the K900, sadly it's not. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode.